There is a moment after every setback when the world becomes unusually quiet. The plan has failed, the door has closed, the relationship has ended, the opportunity has disappeared, the version of the future you were holding in your mind no longer exists. And in that silence, one question remains. What do I do now? People think resilience is the ability to avoid breaking. It is not. Resilience is what happens after you break. And it's the decision to gather what remains, stand amongst the pieces, and begin again without knowing whether the next attempt will succeed. This is what makes resilience difficult. You are not rebuilding with the same innocence you had before. The first time, you believed effort guaranteed results. You believed good intentions protected you. You believed that if you worked hard enough, prepared enough, and wanted something badly enough, life will cooperate. Then life taught you otherwise. The business failed, the person left, the money disappeared, the diagnosis came, the rejection arrived, and suddenly you were forced to understand the truth nobody enjoys learning. You can do many things correctly and still lose. But losing is not the end of the story. It's the moment your real character enters it. Imagine a small tree standing alone on an open plain. For years, the weather is calm. The sun rises, the rain comes gently, the branches grow outward without resistance. From the outside, the tree looks strong. Then the storm arrives. The wind bends it, the rain floods the ground beneath, branches snaps, leaves disappear into the darkness, and for the first time the tree discovers what its roots can hold. This is how hardship works. Comfort reveals your preferences. Pressure reveals your structure. You do not truly know what you believe until believing it becomes inconvenient. You do not truly know how disciplined you are until motivation leaves. You do not truly know how committed you are until reward disappears. Anyone can move forward while life is confirming them. Resilience begins when the life stops confirming you and you keep moving anyway. The most dangerous part about failure is rarely what happens. It is what you begin to believe because it happened. A rejected application becomes, maybe I'm not qualified. A failed relationship becomes, maybe I'm impossible to love. A financial mistake comes, maybe I would never be successful. One painful experience quietly becomes an identity. This is how setbacks becomes prisons. The event ends, but the conclusion remains. You carry it into the next opportunity. You hesitate sooner. You trust less. You attempt less. And you call it wisdom, but sometimes it's only fear wearing a more respectable face. Resilience requires you to separate the event from your identity. You failed. That doesn't mean you are a failure. You were rejected. That doesn't mean you are unworthy. You were hurt. That doesn't mean you must remain guarded forever. Something happened to you. It does not have to become the definition of you. There's an old practice of repairing broken pottery with gold. The cracks are not hidden. They are illuminated. The object is not restored to what it was before. It becomes something new, more visible, more honest, more valuable because of the repair. That is a better picture of resilience than the idea of returning untouched. You are not supposed to emerge from hardship exactly as you entered it. Some things should change. Your boundaries may become stronger. Your priorities may become clearer. Your patience may deepen. Your tolerance for pretending may disappear. You may never stop chasing approval from people who were never equipped to understand you. You may discover that the life you lost was not the only life available to you. Healing does not erase the crack. It teaches the crack how to carry light. Some people confuse resilience with pretending not to feel. They bury grief beneath productivity. They call exhaustion discipline. They call emotional numbness strength. They keep moving because stopping will force them to acknowledge how much pain they are carrying. But resilience is not the refusal to feel. It is the willingness to feel without surrendering your future to the feeling. There are days when strength looks like action. There are also days when strength looks like rest. Sometimes resilience is waking up early and trying again. Sometimes it is admitting that you are tired. Sometimes it is asking for help. Sometimes it is walking away from a battle that is destroying more than it's building. You do not prove your strength by bleeding forever. You prove it by learning when to fight, when to recover, and when to choose a different road. The most important action after a setback is not a dramatic comeback. It is the quiet return. Returning to the desk, returning to the gym, returning to the plan, returning to the conversation, returning to yourself. You do not need to feel fearless. You only need to refuse permanent retreat. Maybe you return with less confidence than before. Return anyway. Maybe your hands shake. Return anyway. Maybe you are embarrassed that you must begin again. Return anyway. Starting over does not erase your progress. You are not returning as the same person who began the first time. You are returning with knowledge, with scars, with better questions, with a clearer understanding of what the journey requires. The second beginning looks smaller from the outside, but inside it contains something the first beginning did not. Proof that you can survive disappointment. Resilience is not the personality trait given to a fortunate few. It is a muscle. It grows through resistance. Each time you face discomfort without abandoning yourself, it strengthens. Each time you keep one small promise during a difficult season, it strengthens. Each time you stop interpreting pain as proof that you should quit, it strengthens. The goal is not to become someone who never fails. The goal is to become someone who trusts their ability to rise. That trust changes the way you live. You take more meaningful risks because failure no longer feels fatal. You speak more honestly because rejection no longer feels like the end of your identity. You pursue larger goals because difficulty no longer surprises you. You stop asking for a life without storms. You begin building roots. There are versions of you that can only be created by surviving something you did not choose. You will never volunteer for the loss. You will never request the pain. You should not romanticize suffering. But once hardship arrives, you still have a choice. You can let it make you smaller, or you can let it make you deeper. Fire destroys many things, but it also reveals what cannot burn. When everything temporary falls away, you discover what remains. Your values, your faith, your capacity to begin again. Your ability to love after disappointment. Your willingness to believe in a future you cannot yet see. That is resilience. Not the absence of damage. The discovery that damage did not remove your ability to become. You may be in the middle of your own storm right now. You may not know how the story ends. You may be tired of being told to stay positive. You may not need another motivational speech. You may simply need permission to take the next step without pretending the road is easy. So take that next step. Not the entire journey, not the perfect plan, the next step. Drink the water, make the call, write the page, submit the application, ask for help, rest tonight, begin again tomorrow. Resilience is not rarely built through one heroic decision. It is built through hundreds of small returns. A return to hope, a return to discipline, a return to truth, a return to the person you still have the power to become. One day, You will look back at the season you thought would destroy you, and you will remember the confusion, the fear, the silence after everything changed, but you will also remember something else. You stayed, you adapted, you learned, you returned. The storm did not leave you untouched, but it did not take everything away. It did not take your ability to rebuild. It did not take your capacity to believe again. It did not take your future. So when life knocks you down, do not ask whether strong people fall. They do. Ask whether you're willing to rise differently. Because resilience is not built in the fall. It's built in the return.